techniques enabling scientists and clinicians to manipulate and change the very genetic code of life itself are coming on stream fast. And the implications are awe-inspiring, if not a little frightening. So join us today as we peer down the microscope for a glimpse of just how gene editing can change the world. Back in 2018, a Chinese scientist called He Zhonghui made headlines around the world by announcing the birth of the first ever gene-edited babies. An associate professor and biophysics researcher, he claimed to have used the sophisticated new DNA editing technique known as CRISPR to manipulate a gene called CCR5 in a pair of twin girls, named Nana and Lulu. This CCR5 gene codes for a particular protein that allows HIV to infect human cells. An American company called eGenesis is currently using CRISPR techniques to that very end, cleverly stamping out porcine retroviruses and other lethal nasties hiding out in the pig genome. In a country where 100,000 people are right now on the waiting list for new organs, with 20 dying from a lack of a good match each day, the need is urgent and the commercial potential obvious. Such medical applications are likely to loom large in the rise of CRISPR over the coming years. Scientists are optimistic that over the coming years, both academia and big money startups will start applying CRISPR to problems like hereditary blindness, heart disease, cystic fibrosis, and even some mental health problems. Even if it doesn't cure cancer overnight, CRISPR offers researchers a uniquely powerful tool with which they can explore the genome. It's relatively simple right now, say, for scientists to tag stretches of genetic code using fluorescent molecules that can track behavior and responsiveness to any given treatment. CRISPR is also remarkably simple and cheap to use, with hundreds of researchers all over the world already using what's been described as the ultimate in democratized biotech.
Ferrofluid is made of nanoparticles of iron, and when you apply a magnetic field to them, they follow the magnetic field lines in this spiky pattern here. The stronger the magnetic field is, the closer together the spikes form. So first let me show you what happens when I move a regular magnet near the ferrofluid. You can see it just sucks it up to the magnet. Okay, now let's bring the superconductor up to it. Okay, watch it push the spikes out of the way as I bring it close. That's because it's opposing the magnetic field at first. Now if I were able to get it closer, then it would lock in place and it wouldn't push the spikes out of the way. But if I push it any closer, it's going to go into the ferrofluid. Another cool thing I observed is that when you bring it near the ferrofluid, the spikes actually start to flow towards it. Now this seemed odd to me because there wasn't a reason magnetically why it should do that. So I tested it with just plastic that was cold, not a superconductor, and it did the same thing.
Bring it over to the point of the bolt and just gently drop it on there.
Okay.
In fact, you don't even have to touch it. It'll get pulled right over because of the magnetic field.
Look at it building up. Whoa. That is so cool. It's turning, I don't even know how to describe it. It almost looks like if I touched it, it'd be spiky.
Watch this. Okay, wow. The magnet is actually drawing those particles. Keep loading it up. We're going to see how much fluid we can get on here. If you notice, you look really close, you can see they're like little spikes.
Yeah, that's what it almost looks like. If I were to touch it, it would be spiky. Clearly, I know that's not the case.
It's actually soft. It's still a liquid, but because of the magnetic field, it's actually taking on a different shape. Those little particles are actually little magnets, but they've been coated with a surfactant so they won't stick to themselves. But in the presence of a very strong magnet, they'll begin to take on these interesting shapes.
Oh, look, it's starting to get spiky even on the threading of the bolt.
Yeah.
That is super neat.
So it's fighting against gravity. The gravity is pulling it down. The magnet's pulling it down. Surface tension is trying to create these interesting shapes.
Sure.
But so it looks cool, right?
Yeah,
it's
looks
really
very
interesting,
cool.
Very cool. What would you use it for? Is the real question. And so if you have a hard drive with a spinning axis that you want to seal, you can use ferrofluid. You put two magnets around the axle, and the ferrofluid will form a seal around the axle. Or if you want to separate things that are non-magnetic, this is a copper penny.
Sure, but we know that it's only partially, not fully copper, right?
You're right.
Okay.
It's zinc inside and a little copper on the outside, but in either case, it's not magnetic. Okay,
Okay, right.
It won't
Yeah, we
stick
know
to
that.
anything.
It's not going to stick to the fridge or anything like
How
that.
would I separate that out? We can use ferrofluid. So watch
Really?
this. Load up my little cup with some ferrofluid. Just use the whole container. Just
Oh, like
you
that.
can
Just
pour
dump it in?
Yeah, just dump it in. It's okay. And if we,
That good?
yeah, that's perfect. If we take the magnet and drop it inside, no great surprise, it's simply going to sink to the bottom.
Sure.
Now, here's where things might get a little bit messy. Watch out.
Woo!
Okay. If I take this super strong magnet and pull it away
Okay.
and put it underneath,
Whoa.
the penny will float to the top.
Yeah, immediately.
Immediately. And if I take it away from the magnet, the penny sinks.
Wow.
If I bring it down to the ferrofluid,
and
penny
so
floats
that's
to
just
the
the
top.
force?
The ferrofluid is actually, and I can have you feel it. I'm going to put this magnet back under the plate, and I want you to reach in with your gloves and touch that clump of ferrofluid. What does it feel like? Describe
Oh,
that.
gel. It feels like a hard, gooey gel, and I can't grab it off here even though I want to.
The density of the
Yeah.
material has changed in the presence of a magnetic field. And this is one way that recyclers can actually separate non-magnetic or non-ferrous metals from magnetic metals.
That is so neat. And yeah, you can't, I'm trying to even separate it, and it won't work.
It feels like Jell-O.
Yep.
It's really weird. But if we do take the magnet away, I'll try not to splash, it goes right back to a liquid.
Wow, that is really neat. So then this almost, in theory, can be reused as well. The actual.
It can, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
There's even some talk of using this sort of nanotechnology to target drugs. So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, we could put it in an entire body and it would all be dilute.